Welcome once again, everyone. Pat Olson here on our CUSD YouTube channel. We have a chance to sit down with the brand new principal at Cunha Middle School, Mr. Feldman. Mr. Feldman, welcome to the district.
Great, it's nice to meet you.
Let's jump right into it. So tell us how you arrived here, the decision to obviously apply for the open job and your interest level in coming to this school district.
This school district, I came here for two reasons. One is the size of the district. Coming from a district that is so large that someone says, "Do you know so-and-so?" No.
Yeah.
There's 100 schools in our district. And second, I really was intrigued with the students that are served here, the population. I think it's a great mix of students that makes for an outstanding community.
What in particular interested you about the blend of students in Cabrillo Unified?
Well, if you think about it, it's a really diverse population. You have a large Hispanic population, a large Caucasian population, and when you look at the suspension rates and you see how low they are, and you look at the test scores and you see how high they are, and you see the parent interactions with the school, that's the kind of community that makes a great school.
You've mentioned the word community a couple of times. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much you've heard about the community, but the community is very involved here. You have large parent groups, especially on the elementary school sites. Parents are very, very involved. I know some of that becomes a little more hands-off at your level and certainly at the high school. But what have you heard about this community in particular?
Well, this is a really active and strong community. You know, I've been here since the beginning of the summer, and I've already met with our PTO several times, our Spanish immersion parents several times. We had a big rally yesterday with our 6th grade parents, standing room only. So we put down 200 chairs and we had people standing in the back. So this is a community that's going to come out for their kids, and that's what makes working at a school like this great, because they're going to come out and they're going to be there for their kids.
You know, this interview is going to probably air on your website the first few days of school with parents viewing and community members. So for those that are popping in to watch the video, give us your background. Tell us, you know, I know that you mentioned big school district. I happen to know because we talked before the interview, Mount Diablo Unified. I went to school in that district. My mom and dad were both teachers in that district. You mentioned 100 schools. So what kind of, give us the, you know, the 20-second, 30-second Mr. Feldman background.
Well, I'm a second-year career educator. So my first career was in international law and fundraising. So I worked in England. I worked for organizations in Israel. I lived in Chicago. And after about 20 years, I wanted to do something different. So I became a teacher, and I was fortunate enough to get a position while I was in my teaching credential at St. Joseph Notre Dame High School, where I was there for 6 years. Started off as a coach, teacher, administrator, and then I've worked exclusively in middle school. So the Oakland Military Institute as 7th, 8th grade teacher, and then coming up through the ranks last year and the year before, last 2 years, at Oak Grove Middle School in Mount Diablo as the assistant principal for English language learners, the athletic director, and 8th grade.
You mentioned an awful lot of background in middle school. The first job I got in the school district, pardon me, was a long-term sub position on this site. And a couple of friends of mine said, "Oh, middle school, how can you handle those kids?" So what is it about the 6th, 7th, 8th grade age group that intrigues and interests you?
It's the best age group. I apologize to people in kindergarten through 5.
Or myself at a high school teacher.
And I taught high school. I was a high school teacher, started off. Love teaching my high school students. But 6th, 7th, and 8th grade is when you're both learning there's a world outside of your bubble. It's the first time that you realize, there's something else out there besides my 4 walls and my friends. And you're also learning how to navigate different situations and social situations and emotional situations. And you're growing. You go from 4'6" in 6th grade to 6'4". In 8th grade, you're learning how to use your arms and your legs. And maybe you're coming to middle school and you're like, "Hey, I've played this sport. I'm going to try this sport." And I know from my background as a researcher that 7th grade in particular is when you first start seeing yourself as college ready. If you see yourself as college ready in 7th grade, you're going to go to college. And so our job is to get many of those students socially, emotionally, and academically to picture themselves at that university doing something interesting and moving forward in their life. It's not 12th grade where you see yourself. It's 7th grade, and that's why middle school is so important.
You know, it is the first few days of the school year as this interview is running. So tell us a bit about, preparation, the energy level of the first week. This is always an extremely exciting time of the school year.
We're really excited. So I've been working with our district faculty and district office since the end of June, and we are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
We are fully staffed. Every single faculty position is filled. We spent the summer interviewing multiple times for many positions, sometimes 2 or 3 times, until we found the right person that would be great for our kids. So we are fully staffed. So that's number one that we're very, very excited about. And number 2, we have a new assistant principal, and she's someone that I've worked with for a long time. She was my first boss at St. Joseph Notre Dame High School. She hired me. She was the assistant principal, and she's been behind the scenes getting all of the things that need to be done in classrooms. So facilities items, and we've been working with teachers. We had a great meeting, a kickoff meeting, where we talked about the vision and the goals for this upcoming year, and we're ready to roll. We're ready to go.
You mentioned a new assistant principal, so 2 new administrators on this campus. How well have the 2 of you, acclimated and gotten to know the teaching staff here? Sometimes that's a process that takes a few weeks, if not a few months.
But I'm very fortunate. We did a round of first interviews for vice principals, the teaching staff and I, several members on the committee, and we just didn't find the person that was just right for us. And then we did another announcement where we wanted to get another pool, and I'm fortunate that someone that I worked with in the past decided to apply. And Ms. Kuznick, she has about 35 years of experience in education. She's been a science teacher, a director of student activities, a vice principal, and a principal. So between the 2 of us, we really were able to just get in, know what to do. I haven't been able to spend much time with her because there's a lot of teachers working with her. So there's always a teacher in her office. Can you help me move this? Can you get me that? We are going to do some building of some furniture, and it's just been a great partnership, and all of the big things that we've needed to team up on, some hiring decisions or some other major facilities. We just sit down at the table because we know each other so well. A lot of that awkwardness of getting to know each other. It's like, here's what we need to do, and we can bounce ideas off each other.
Final comment from you here on our CUSD YouTube channel. We're with Mr. Feldman, the new principal here at Cunha. Describe your style. I've been in the district for 15 years. I've worked for a number of principals at the high school. We have Mr. Nazar now, who's taught in this district. He was an assistant principal on this campus. He seems to know every kid by name up at Half Moon Bay High School. And I've worked for, more of the authoritarian type, where they kind of rise above the crowd, and they may be spending more time in their office. So describe Mr. Feldman, what the kids and parents are going to expect from you the next years.
Well, as you know, because I was late to the interview.
Only 2 minutes.
Where was I? Out with the kids in the auditorium, one by one, meeting every kid, interviewing them. Who are you? What do you do? Tell me a little bit about yourself. Are you excited to come back? My background, it's where Gene and I are going to work so well. My background is really, I'm good with kids. I've been fortunate to be given somewhat of a gift to be good with kids. I'm really a teacher who happens to be the principal. Mm-hmm. And Mrs. Kuznick is also really good with kids, but she can get trains to run on time. Mm-hmm. If I ran the trains, they might be a minute or 2 late because I'll probably be out on the field trying to get on the train with the kids. Mm-hmm. Whereas Mrs. Kuznick's like, if the train needs to leave, we gotta go. Mm-hmm. And I think it comes from, I've been a coach for about 35 years. And I was a coach ever before I was a teacher in the classroom. And I think those coaching skills, that's my style. I tend to want to coach up people, coach up skills, coach up people, as opposed to just coming and like, here's how we're going to do it. It's more of a coaching style, and it's worked for me, and even when I was an attorney, it worked for me back then. So that's what you're going to see here.
Yeah, I can attest to our viewers watching that Mr. Feldman was in fact in the gym talking to kids. I had a rough time prying him away, and he wanted to do the interview in the gym with students around us. I get a sense of your energy. Welcome to the district. I'm sure you're looking forward to a great year.
Thank you.
We appreciate the time.
Have a great day.
All right, that's Mr.
Back to the gym.
Back to the gym. That's Mr. Feldman, the new principal here at Cunha Middle School. Thanks for watching. I'm Pat Olson right here on our CUSD YouTube channel.